What's up, everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Football Office Hours. I am your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, Josh and John Luke, and we are here to answer any and all of your fantasy questions. So if you've got fantasy questions, start sits, trade questions, questions about a player's outlook, rest of season, anything you can think of, throw them in here, and we'll do our best to answer anything you throw our way. Guys, we're going to start off right away with a question from Jay Wall. He said, Higbee and a third or Knox. So in a dynasty league, are you going Tyler Higbee in a third or Dawson Knox?
Yeah, I mean, that third round pick, it's Dawson Knox. It's a dynasty league, so we're thinking long term here. If it was just for this year, I'd be tempted to lean Higbee just because of the Knox injury. You know, he has a broken bone in his hand, but Knox has looked great. He's young and up and coming. I believe this is his third season. We all know about that third season breakout for tight ends. Knox has everything. The formula is coming together for Knox being a breakout tight end in that high-powered Bills offense. It's Knox for me.
I agree with you. I'm not buying into the Higbee breakout anymore. I think we've seen what Higbee is a couple years in a row now. He's a good tight end for fantasy. Mm-hmm. He'll be fine for you. But Knox has that home run ability for me. Like he's the guy with more upside that could potentially in a couple years be someone we're talking about in that top tier of tight end. I'm not calling for that. I think there's a 0% chance Higbee's in that conversation, whereas Dawson Knox definitely could be in a couple years' time. Jill, where are you going here? Higbee in a third or Knox?
I think they're I think they're similar. I don't necessarily agree with you, Simon, that Higbee is like we know exactly what Higbee is. I think he could absolutely take a leap. I think the main difference between these two guys this year has been the touchdowns. But in Dynasty, I'm taking the age difference, if nothing else. Higbee is 28 compared to Dawson Knox, who's 24. So I would rather have the younger guy, and I do expect the Bills to be pretty high powered going forward. So I'm excited for him. But I'm not down on Higbee either.
I get what you're saying, but it seems like we're all in agreement. Knox on this one, Jay Wall. So go get you some Dawson Knox if you're on the Higbee side of that one. Carlos in here says, it's serious when Josh has a blazer on.
What up,
We're not messing around, Carlos.
Carlos.
Good to see you, my friend.
In class.
We are not messing around today. Watch out. Only serious.
Oh, wait, we're not in school.
Josh trying to get tenure.
We're at office hours.
You know me.
Carlos wants to know Winston or Tua. I have Darnold, but I'm thinking one of these guys is a better pick. So really the question is Winston, Tua, or Darnold. Josh, we'll start with you here. Winston, Tua, or Darnold. Who would you like to start this week?
For me, it's close between Tua and Darnold. I'm not considering Winston as much here. They're all pretty close, but I'm going Darnold here against the New York Giants.
JL, what about you? Where are you going?
I didn't read the Darnold part of this. Between Winston and Tua, I'm going Tua. But I think I'd lean Darnold as well.
I would lean Darnold as well.
Just slightly, though.
Yep. Darnold's a little bit above Tua for me. I like the matchup. I like Tua's matchup as well, but I've just got a little bit more faith in Darnold this week, even with the poor performances we've seen recently. I'm sticking with Darnold, Carlos.
And I will say that I think the Falcons probably are the best matchup. I love teams going against the Falcons for the rest of the year because I think their offense is good enough to put up points while their defense is not very good. So I like Tua, but yeah, sticking with Darnold.
Bam says doing a blockbuster trade, getting rid of Michael Thomas, Alex Collins, Aaron Jones, Jacoby Myers, and Michael Pittman for Javonte, JT, Hollywood, and AB.
Holy crap. Hold on. let me process this for a second. I like that he put sell high next to Collins' name.
Is this a dynasty or a redraft, Bam, for this trade? I'm curious.
I'm assuming redraft.
It affects the way I look at it.
I think we should assume redraft here in my mind.
Okay, we can assume redraft. The best player is on the left side with Aaron Jones. So there's the best player over there, but then all the other pieces I think are better on the other side of the trade.
And JT and Aaron Jones, they're close enough, right?
Yeah,
they're fairly close. I think I'm liking the other side, the Javonte, JT, Hollywood, and AB. AB is a stud wide receiver rest of season as long as he's healthy. Hollywood's the number one receiving option, wide receiver, not receiving option on that Baltimore Ravens offense. And Javonte is what I view as an ascending player rest of season. I like this trade. JL, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like the second part of that trade, Javonte, JT, Hollywood, and AB.
Let's break it down real fast. Javonte or Collins rest of the season?
Javonte.
Michael Thomas or let's say Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown.
Anyone.
Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones, we just said are very close, but we're going Aaron Jones there. And
Aaron
it's
Jones.
Hollywood or Jacoby. It's Hollywood.
Hollywood, yep.
So it's definitely the second side.
Yep. I like the way you broke that down, Josh. It looks a little closer until you start breaking it down like that. Swamp has a question for us. What's up, Swampy? Glad to have you in here. He said, I only have $10 fab left. Should I put it all in for Dearness Johnson? My other running backs are Mike Davis, Michael Carter, JD, and Khalil Herbert. I'm going to say no. I think you are not upgrading your running back position based on the running backs you have, putting in that fab bid for Dearness Johnson. Save that $10. You should be fine this week. What do you guys think?
Yep, I agree.
Josh?
Don't put it all on Dearness Johnson. Put $9 on him.
You think so? So you would start, like if you had to start two running backs from this group, including Dearness Johnson, he would find his way into your starting running backs out of this group?
No, not necessarily, but I think there's a world where, Kareem Hunt, he could be out for 8 weeks. He could be out the rest of the season, really. He could be. And we know that the Browns don't want to only use Nick Chubb. So even when Nick Chubb's healthy, I think there's a world where Dearness Johnson is fantasy relevant, even with Nick Chubb coming back. So I see his running backs, they're not good. They're definitely not rest of the season good, considering like a lot of starters could be coming back, considering Antonio Gibson and David Montgomery. You need bodies, and I think Dearness Johnson's kind of worth a pickup.
I hear you. I guess I'm just a lot more pessimistic about his usage in this offense, but I understand it. Running back especially, you need someone who's going to touch the ball.
Yeah.
Unruly Drip says, rate this trade Alex Collins and Ertz for Devonta Smith. He already has Pitts. Josh, you're smiling. How do you feel about this one?
I like that trade. I like getting Devonta Smith.
JL?
Yeah. Love it.
Yep, I'm a fan of that one.
Killing
as well.
it, Drip.
Unruly Drip.
Killing it.
I would take the Devonta side as well. Craig said 14-team deep rosters, 55-man roster. Need to start 3. Edmonds, Mike Davis, Drake, Latavius, and Bolden. Who you got? JL, we'll come to you first. Which 3 of these running backs are you starting?
Oh, okay.
It's ugly.
This is a lot.
The last one is ugly, really, when it comes down to it. Because Latavius Murray got injured, so we got to see the extent of that.
Do we agree it's the first 2, Edmonds and Mike Davis, and we're just trying to decide on the third? JL, do you agree it's Edmonds and Mike Davis?
Yes.
And then we're trying to figure out the third one there, and that is very gross. Man, let me look at my rankings. Josh, do you have an immediate answer between those 3 guys?
Immediate answer, no. Kenyon Drake, he just had a very good game. He looks like he's going to be more involved in the passing game going forward. So I guess I lean Kenyon Drake, even though Latavius Murray, if he's fully healthy. But I think Devonta Freeman looks a lot better than Latavius. Drake, I think, is the answer.
Yeah, I would lean Drake as well. It's a really good matchup against Philly.
Man, yeah, I think I agree with you guys. That's just pretty gross. Look, what about this one? Would you start Kenyon Drake or Mark Ingram?
Kenyon Drake.
JL?
It would be Mark Ingram for me.
Mark Ingram. J-Wall said, I sent you that trade. Oh.
No, I can't do it. Not against Arizona.
J-Wall just wanted me to answer a trade that he sent me to get my opinions on it on stream before I even saw the trade offer. That is smart, J-Wall, but I think I ended up picking the side that you wanted me to trade away, so I apologize there. Unruly Drip said, is Ryan Tannehill a great start this week? The Titans are going up against the Chiefs, so they're going up against the Chiefs defense that has been exploited so far this year. Josh, what do you think about Ryan Tannehill as a start this week? Are you plugging him in?
Yeah, he is a start this week. AJ Brown looks like he's back. Julio Jones is back. Again, you just were talking about how bad the Kansas City Chiefs defense is and how good their offense is. The Titans are going to have to put up points. Eventually, Derrick Henry's not going to get all the touchdowns. Yeah, Ryan Tannehill is a very good start this week.
Agreed with you. JL?
Yeah, I agree. Top 10.
Also, some context earlier. Bam said that was a dynasty league. I like that trade even better now, Bam.
Oh, that trade is beautiful in Dynasty.
Yeah, because JT over Aaron Jones in Dynasty. Yep. So, it just cancels out that factor.
You did it. You did the thing.
You did it. You absolutely did it. We've got a question here. Michael Carter or JD McKissic this week? Who are you starting? Josh, is it Michael Carter or is it JD McKissic?
it's J.D. McKissic if Antonio Gibson's not playing, which I don't really expect him to play. It's an easy J.D. McKissic. Now, if Antonio Gibson plays, it's closer, but I still lean J.D. McKissic.
Yep, I'm with Josh.
I completely agree. For me, it's J.D. McKissic either way. Now, he has another question for us. Bridgewater or Winston? Who are you starting this week? Teddy Bridgewater or Jameis Winston? Who do the Broncos play again this week? The Broncos go up against the Browns. Duh. On Thursday night. So the Broncos against the Browns on Thursday night, or Jameis Winston
against the Seahawks.
Against the Seahawks.
Winston.
I'll go Winston here. Yeah, this is a Browns defense that has been fairly good. Now they are a little bit beat up, but I also don't expect this Browns offense to score very many points in this game. I don't think they're going to have to do anything crazy on offense for the Broncos. I'll go Jameis Winston. JL, where are you going here?
It's Jameis for me.
Triple Jameis.
And then also Jameis is coming off of his bye. You got to think the team's a little bit more prepared. Yeah, Jameis Winston.
Carlos says, I have Jacoby, but after this last week, I'm thinking I drop him for Mooney. Am I wrong in thinking that Mooney has higher upside moving forward? I don't think you're wrong for thinking that. I was going through an exercise this morning because I saw someone say, would you drop A-Rob for Mooney? Like if A-Rob was the worst player on your team. And I drew the line there, but then I was curious, like, where is that line for me? Like, what player would I drop for Darnell Mooney? He's heavily involved in this offense. He's a favorite target of Justin Fields. Jacoby's getting the targets too, though, which is what's hard. I'm fine with this move. I think I would rather plug Mooney into my starting lineup than Jacoby, so I would do this. Josh, you're cringing up there. Would you do this move? Would you drop Jacoby for Myers or for Mooney?
I would not. I just like what I've seen on Mac Jones a lot more than I've seen on Justin Fields. I think Mac Jones is going to be able to get Jacoby Myers the ball consistently. I know Jacoby Myers can't score touchdowants. He had a touchdown.
He had it.
He had a
one. Yeah. It looked like a force field.
It got called back.
Yeah,
Well,
someone, who was
back.
it? It was someone.
There was one that
it was
got called
really
back.
unnecessary penalty.
I don't know. Jacoby Myers is one of the highest targeted receivers in the league. If it's a PPR league, I am going Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers for Josh. JL, what do you think here? Break the tie.
Yeah, I think I lean Jacoby Myers. I mean, he's 25.1% target share in that offense, which is the most by far. Next closest one is Nelson Aguilar with 14.5% target share in the season. Yeah, so give me the targets. He'll get in the end zone. He'll get in the touchdown.
He'll get in the touchdown.
He'll get inside that touchdown
for sure.
And you'll
get
like
in
it.
That touchdown so good.
Carlos says, I'm hoping to get JD off waivers, but as a backup, who's the better long-term pickup between Dearness and Ramondre? So Dearness Johnson and Ramondre Stevenson. Dearness on the Browns, Ramondre Stevenson on the Patriots. Both of these running backs. So JL, as a long-term ad, someone who could provide value rest of season, which of these two guys do you prefer?
Probably Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, I think it's Ramondre Stevenson for me as well.
I don't love that. I'm not super excited about Ramondre Stevenson right now. But
Josh,
you mean the Rhino?
The Rhino, yes, the Rhino. Sorry.
This is really close for me. Ramondre Stevenson, he's getting more involved in the passing game. Brandon Bolden only had 1 target last week. For Ramondre Stevenson had 3 targets and 39 yards on those. He got a touchdown, 5 carries. I think Ramondre Stevenson could get more and more involved in this offense. I'm still picking up Dearness over Ramondre.
Man, who would have thought that the Browns fan would be just poo-pooing it and we got the Ravens fan hyping up Dearness? But I'm glad you're taking that stance, Josh. I've been down on him, but there is a world where Dearness Johnson does step in and get a lot more work with Kareem Hunt out. I think it's worth mentioning for sure. I accidentally skipped Jay's question. He said, put in order of preference, Bateman, AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton. For me, waiver wire priority. Then this switch today, it is AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton, Rashod Bateman in order for me. JL, what order are you going here?
Green, Bateman, Hilton.
Green, Bateman, Hilton for JL. Josh, what about you?
I'm with JL. Green, Bateman, Hilton.
Okay, so we all got Green first, and then you two have Bateman over Hilton. I've got Hilton over Bateman, but they're very close.
Hilton had 4 targets in this game. He had 4 targets and he did a lot with it. He had 20 yards per catch here. 4 receptions for 80 yards.
Most of it was on 1 play.
Yeah, I'm not chasing that.
I'm not necessarily chasing that, just so we're clear. It wasn't just that game. It was the preseason narrative.
And last season he played well. Like last season he played well when he was in. So I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, Carson Wentz said he liked him in the preseason. There was reports coming out about their chemistry, and in his very first game back, he gets 4 targets. You're saying only 4 targets. I'm saying he's coming back from an injury in his first game, and he already got 4 targets in a game is how I'm viewing that.
And if we're talking about last season, T.Y. Hilton, he's a big play threat, right? Phillip Rivers, the quarterback for the Colts last year, just couldn't throw it deep. And Carson Wentz has the ability to do this. So,
isn't Tim call him Noodle Arm?
Noodle arm.
Yeah, he's a noodle arm. There's a reason he's not in the NFL right now.
Swamp has a question. He said, okay, with or without D'Ernest, which 2 am I starting? So he wants to know Mike Davis, Michael Carter, JD Herbert, and D'Ernest Johnson. I'm going Mike Davis, JD McKissic. Those are the 2 I'm starting out of this group. Josh, which ones are you starting out of this group, including D'Ernest?
It's got to be Mike Davis, JD McKissic. Khalil Herbert, you might want to consider him, but they're playing the Buccaneers.
Yeah, it's a horrible start
who
for him.
Just have not allowed any running back, any sort of yards so far this season. You really just can't have faith in them. We don't know if Damian Williams is going to play. Yeah, it's JD and Mike Davis for me.
John Luke.
Same. And shout out to Swamp, because all off season, while we were sitting there saying JD McKissic is probably not worth drafting at all, I feel like Swamp got him in every draft at the last round. So hats off to you, Swamp. They did not use him how we were expecting. So well done.
Yep, that's a great point, Joe. He was tooting the JD McKissic horn all off season. He also said send a trade TY and Thielen for DJ Moore. Yep.
So read that as DJ Moose, and I don't know why I enjoy that so much. DJ Moose.
Yeah, do that trade, Swamp. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And now's the time to do it because Thielen just had a big blow up week and DJ Moore had a somewhat disappointing game.
Yep. Great point, Josh. Unruly Drip said, one more question. You can keep them coming. You don't have to say last one. He said, one of my RBs at the moment are Mixon, Henderson, and unfortunately CMC. Do I pick up Michael Carter off waivers as a stash? Yeah. With your current running back situation, I think that's a good idea. If Mixon or Henderson goes down, have Michael Carter ready to go to plug in.
That's a solid running back core, and hopefully CMC comes back, for the season. I mean, not just like it sounded really ominous for a second there.
Man, getting to start Mixon and Henderson this week is such a flex. Like that is like an unbelievable flex when you're looking at people's running back situations.
D'Ernest Johnson. And
oh God.
I've got Mixon and Henderson in 2 leagues.
Nice, Josh.
And just another point about Michael Carter. Look, guys, he's a rookie. I understand the Jets aren't the most exciting team, but he's getting more and more work. He's growing in this offense. And if they decide to give him like 70% of the carries at some point this year, he's going to be a guy you want in your lineup. So yes, he should be owned.
Yep. Agree with you there, Josh. We've got another question here. The Fantasy Futurist podcast says Sam Darnold or Justin Fields this week. Superflex home league. Josh, are you starting Sam Darnold or Justin Fields this week?
Darnold easily. Justin Fields has done nothing to give you any confidence in putting in your lineup. I'm only putting him in if I have to.
I agree with you.
Are we going to get Sam Darnold of earlier in the season or Sam Darnold of late?
It doesn't matter because of late, still just as good as Justin Fields.
Good point. It's a good point.
I think the Bears are going to, if they have any chance of winning this game, it's going to be on the back of Justin Fields' arm, and I don't think they have any chance of winning this game. So I'm going to go Sam Darnold.
Why don't you guys take a guess at what the line is for this game?
8.5.
Wait, who's at home? Bucks and Bears, right?
Yeah, the Bears are away, so it's at Tampa Bay.
I'll say 8.5.
It's got to be more. It's more than 10. It's 11 points.
13.
13. Right. Oh my goodness. That is even higher than I thought, but you know what?
Josh, would you take the Bears at plus 13?
No, I'm not touching that.
Simon, you?
I'm not touching
No, I would not take the Bears at plus 13, I don't think. I don't have the confidence to do that.
Is it 13.5 you said, or just 13?
No, just 13.
Okay. I like taking points typically when it's this many points, and we know it's not the Bears, while we love to give their offense a bunch of crap, they've been playing relatively competitive games. It'd be tough to bet on the Bucks on that one.
Yeah. Maria said, I came here to study, and then I totally forgot about this. She said, do you guys think that the FanDuel guy who was about to win $20,000 that the Bills won, let it ride or cashed it out? I don't know if you guys saw this. FanDuel
I would have let it ride.
Tweeted it out yesterday, and they said this one guy, to finish his parlay, he just needed a Bills victory. $13 bet, and he could have cashed out for like 10,500 something. or let it ride for like 21,600.
I was pretty darn confident the Bills were going to.
I was super confident that I told Maria, I was like, I don't know.
I
think I might let it ride.
I bet on it. I bet on it and lost a decent amount of money.
Oh, hopefully it cashed out. That would be devastating.
There was a TikTok yesterday where this guy was just playing the video and he was like, if y'all think the Titans aren't about to win tonight, you're crazy. And then he just goes on. He's like, there is so many parlays with the Bills winning as the last leg. Something's about to happen. And then the Titans came out and won. But I'm not buying into any conspiracy stuff. But that Titans win definitely crashed a bunch of parlays last night that were relying on that to win. Come here now, Beach 89 to Denver or Arizona defense. So before you answer this, the Denver defense is going up against the Cleveland Browns with all of their injuries. Arizona has Houston, though. They're playing Houston, yes. I just wanted to make sure.
Don't even need injuries to be as bad as the Browns offense. Like, they traded every way over. Yeah, it's Arizona.
It's Arizona. I just wanted to say I understand where this question's coming from. With Denver going up against a banged up Cleveland offense.
Yeah. It's still Arizona. Come here now, Beach 89.
Good one, JL. That was a really good one. Oil wants to know Daryl Williams or Josh Jacobs this week. Oh, no. Josh said, ooh.
Yeah, you know what?
Spooky. I'm going Daryl Williams.
Yeah.
I was wrong last week. He was used a lot more heavily in that offense than I thought he was going to. So I'll go Daryl Williams. JL, where are you going here?
I'm with you, Simon. Daryl Williams.
Who's Kansas City playing this week? Oh, the Browns. Right?
No, the Broncos are playing the Browns.
Who's Kansas City
playing? The Chiefs are playing the Titans.
Tennessee. Yeah, it's Daryl Williams.
The 4-2 Tennessee Titans.
The 4-2 Tennessee Titans. Carlos says, is it time to drop trade Julio Jones? At this rate, I'm not sure anyone would take a Julio trade, so maybe just take a room on my bench. Josh, would you drop Julio Jones?
Hell no. No, you can't drop Julio Jones.
I would pick Julio Jones up off the waiver so fast if someone dropped him.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you got to hold. You got to just hold and wait.
Now, is it time to trade? Yeah, I don't know how much you're going to get for him, like you said. But
it could be time to trade, but I wouldn't trade this week. I would trade, after he has a big game.
He's going to have a big game at some point in the next few weeks, in my mind.
Yeah, he hasn't had any touchdowns yet. Hopefully that'll regress.
Touchdown Jones. Gridiron Rating says, question, do I start players this week at all or just avoid football entirely?
I would avoid football entirely. Yeah, that's probably a safe move.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I love football.
Lee says, should I trade DK, Edmonds, Antonio Brown, and Moss for Swift and McLaurin in full PPR? So DK Metcalf, Chase Edmonds, Antonio Brown, and Zach Moss for DeAndre Swift and Terry McLaurin. That's a lot to give up.
Oh my God. So it's like a upgrade at wide receiver and running back, but it's two wide receivers and running back. Yeah, DK with Geno at this point, McLaurin's a slight upgrade.
Oh, I wasn't talking about DK Metcalf.
Oh, Antonio Brown.
I was talking about Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I don't think I could make the trade, even though it's fair.
Dale, what do you think here?
I don't think I can make the trade either. I think you're just giving up too much. I don't feel like it would be hard for me without seeing your team but even so, I can't imagine a team where I'm like, all right, my team looks way better now with Swift and McLaurin versus all these other guys on there.
Yeah, I don't think you're upgrading wide receiver that much going from DK to McLaurin or Antonio
DK
Brown.
And Antonio Brown, if you're just packaging them up for McLaurin, I take the running backs out of this. I'm not interested in that. I'd rather have DK and AB.
Yep, I'm going there.
Great question, Lee, and welcome back.
We got another question. Carlos said, do we do DST here? I like to stream teams. Top DSTs on waivers are Pats, Saints, and Rams. Who should I pick up, or is there a sleeper?
We do Ds.
We do Ds over here. We're all about the D over here. JL, do you have an opinion on which of these three teams you would prefer to start, or if there's a different sleeper on waivers?
Was it Pats, Saints, and Rams?
Yes.
All are top 5 options for me this week. I think Pats probably a number 1 against the Jets. Yeah. So Pats are playing the Jets, Rams are playing Detroit, and the Saints are playing Seattle. All great matchups against bad offenses. I'm going to go. I would go Patriots over the other two, but they're back to back.
I'll take Rams. I'll just take the better defense. And even if I like the matchup a little bit less, I'll trust the Rams defense, which I view as much better than the Pats defense. Josh, where are you going here?
I agree. It's between the Rams and the Patriots for me. The Patriots are so good against rookie quarterbacks. And guess what? The Jets have a rookie quarterback starting. But the Rams, like you said, Simon, are just the better overall defense. I lean Rams. If
you can get the Cardinals, get the Cardinals.
Yeah.
It's so close, though.
Good luck. Unruly Drip said Saints or Denver DST. So are you going the New Orleans Saints DST up against Seattle or the Denver DST up against the Browns?
Saints.
I think I'm going Saints as well.
Saints for me.
JML Sports says in a 16-team league, 1-5 record, is this a good trade? Yeah, it's a great trade.
Fantastic
really
trade.
Good.
It's good.
He posted it further down. CMC, Trey Sermon, and Julio for Gaskin, Ridley, Jacobs, and St. Brown.
Oh my God.
They will be joining Marvin Jones and James Robinson.
What does that mean? Those players are on his team. Here's why I like this trade for you right now. You're 1-5. You need to win this week. So you need to get some sort of value from that CMC draft pick that you made first overall, I'm assuming. This is the time to move CMC if you're 1-5. You can't keep holding on because then you'll miss the playoffs entirely. Do I prefer having CMC on my team? Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do to win this week. And I think this trade is going to help you do that. Josh, how do you feel about this trade?
Yeah, I'm doing this trade. Trey Sermon, you can't rely on it at all. Julio, I expect better weeks. Gaskin is a starter for you. Jacobs is a starter. Ridley's a starter. And St. Brown is probably a starter if Marvin Jones is your best receiver otherwise. So
that's what I'm worried about. Yeah. That's what sticks out to me is that Marvin Jones, like he said, they'll be joining Marvin Jones. Is that your best receiver? If that's the case, I would want Ridley on this team. I'm not super high on Gaskin. I like Jacobs a lot, but I would rather get Ridley here. I'd be worried if Marvin Jones is your top wide receiver.
Yes, sir.
Yep, agreed there. Also, Gridiron Ratings came and said, LMAO, it's Matt McCarthy. I thought I was on my account. We should have known it was you, my man. We should have known it was you.
What's up, Matt?
I'm going to be right back, guys. Josh and Jail are going to keep answering your questions for a second, but I will be right back.
We got a good question here. Robert Woods or Cortland Sutton. I don't know if this is for the rest of the year or if it's for this week. If we're just talking about this week, though, it is Cortland Sutton, and it's an easy Cortland Sutton for me. It's not easy Cortland Sutton. Robert Woods has looked great, and Robert Woods, they're playing the Detroit Lions, but I don't know if the Rams are going to have to pass all game, and I've liked what I've seen out of Cortland Sutton. I'm going to go with Cortland Sutton here.
You want to guess the line on this Rams-Detroit game, Josh?
The line, Rams-Detroit, are the Rams at home?
The Rams are at home, yeah.
10.5 points.
Minus 14.5.
Wow.
Minus 14.5.
Big old spreads this week. It makes sense. Detroit, they're 0-6, right?
Yep.
I don't blame them.
I'm leaning Sutton, just barely. They are literally back to back in my rankings this week, but I'm going to lean Sutton.
Rest of the year, we have Jerry Jeudy coming back. And I know that concerns a lot of people. It doesn't concern me as much. I still think Cortland Sutton's going to have a role. I think he's going to be good. Yeah, they're different receivers. But if we're talking about rest of the year for this question, I think I actually do lean Robert Woods.
I might too. I don't know how I would answer that rest of season. That's a tough question. I still think they're pretty close. Yeah. Absolutely. 2-3 in here saying meow. 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 What up, 2-3? Welcome back. Good to see you, my friend. We got some more questions here, Josh.
Yeah. I was just reading Jake's here to see. Is it just me, or I feel like when he versus the Giants and Jets, Miles Sanders is going to go off, and I think they are going to start changing the offense. Is it bad if I trade Tim Patrick and Khalil Herbert for him?
No,
not at all.
I like that trade. I think we maybe alluded to it in the last stream. Talk about this, but. I don't mind going out and trading for Miles Sanders. I think he's probably a good buy low candidate this week. You know, I think that he not just this week, but the rest of the season. I mean, they are changing how they're using him, and you know, I think Herbert is going to be a short-term guy. Same with Tim Patrick, because like Josh just said, Jeudy will be back.
Absolutely. And like Miles Sanders, I agree. I think he's a good buy low. He's faced some pretty good defenses so far this season. And once he starts getting those carries, this offense has to realize that they have to get the running game going to be successful throughout the game. They can't just rely on Justin Fields to score. I mean, Justin Fields. Wow. Jalen Hurts to score 2 rushing touchdowns at the very end of the game. Miles Sanders is going to get more involved. He's a talented running back, probably one of the most talented players on that team, and they've got to realize it. I think he's a good trade for target, actually, at this point, because you can get him super low probably in most spots.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this is a good
2-3 in here. Najee Harris, Michael Carter, J.D. McKissic. Isn't Tariq Cohen or Karen Callaway? I don't know what you're asking.
Callaway.
Karen Callaway.
Maybe Marquez Callaway. So let's just talk about this week. You're starting Najee Harris, right?
Yes.
And J.D. McKissic.
Yeah.
So if you're only asking for 2, those are the
Quick,
2.
Simon, Karen Callaway or Najee Harris?
Karen Callaway. Just
Yes.
Najee Harris and J.D. McKissic. It's the other guys aren't close in my mind.
Neither is Karen.
Karen's right up there.
She's up there.
Khalil Herbert,
two for running back.
Wes
I don't like
Watkins. Whoa.
He goes, yes, I'm serious.
It's week 7. You don't even have to preface that. It is
My favorite Dave story is when we were in the elevator at Canton, and Simon, you and I couldn't get our shit together. I like dropped my room key or my hotel key, and you're like, I got it. And then you dropped yours, and he's just like, you guys are bad at things.
Just in general, bad at things. That was pretty funny. I'm going Khalil Herbert. It took you mentioned names pretty far down that I wasn't used to answering questions about, but I'm going Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, I'm going Herbert.
It's got to be Herbert. Quez Watkins is getting decent targets, but they're usually short area targets, and I don't trust the Eagles' offense, especially their third option.
Carlos said, all my questions answered. I knew the Blazer meant business. Thanks, guys. That's what we're here for.
Great
Carlos. Thank you
Carlos.
so much coming in with those questions. Yeah, those were fun.
And everyone else, if you're enjoying this, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. We're here every single weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, playing game show games that are based off fantasy football, and every Tuesday, Thursday, 4:15. Right after that stream, we're doing these office hours, helping you out.
Answering your questions.
Like, subscribe, send Josh Venmo.
Stand out on the street and scream, I love front yard fantasy.
You can send me all the Venmo you want.
If you film it and do that, we will laugh and maybe show it on the stream.
Maybe. JR said, any John Brown news? Don't ask. Josh, Mr. News, anything you've heard?
Yeah,
any
I
updates
actually
on
do.
John Brown?
Browns reverted. John Brown was reverted to the Broncos practice squad on Monday.
No good.
No.
So,
I love John Brown.
Can I drop him in Dynasty?
Yes. He played 7% of the snaps last week, and now they're reverting him to the practice squad. They obviously don't love what they see. You're not relying on John
targets.
Brown.
0 targets.
Sorry.
Bam said Saints bring back Traquan Smith from IR. Any thoughts, any interest from you guys? None from me.
No, sir.
Michael Thomas will be back eventually. It might take a couple weeks, but you're not starting Traquan Smith. And then once Michael Thomas is back, you really aren't going to want to start him.
We've got another question. Should I try trading Waller and Zach Moss for Kamara? I have Pitts as a tight end. Yes. Yep. Go do this right now. If the person will accept Kamara for Waller and Zach Moss, I'm doing this trade in a heartbeat. Yeah. You might have to wait for a big Waller week, maybe to be able to sell this, but I would try it. I think it's a great idea.
Having said that, I'm definitely doing this trade for Kamara. Waller is a good go and buy candidate in my mind. If you can buy him low, I think he's still going to be easily a top 3 tight end at the end of the season. So.
What about this one with Chubb and Hunt out? How do you guys feel about picking up Dearness? We've talked about this a little bit. We've got some different opinions. So I will give mine and then I'll pass it off to Josh. I have little to no interest in picking up Dearness unless it is a literal last option. I don't believe in his involvement in this Browns offense. We've talked about it a little bit. Of the 2 backups, Felton is the more likely to get the receiving work. And I think it's way more likely that they just load up Chubb with the full workhorse role on the running plays than giving a significant amount of work to Dearness Johnson. But Josh, how do you feel about Dearness Johnson?
Yeah, I'm on the other end. I think he's going to be a good, solid running back this week, and a lot of people need players to start. And the Browns know how to run the ball. I know they're missing some linemen. I know they're missing a lot of players, but they have a good scheme. And we don't know how long Chubb's going to be out. We know Kareem Hunt's going to be out for several weeks. I think he's worth a pickup.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I think he's good if you need a short-term pickup. I'm not what's it called? What's the saying? Spending the farm. Damn it, Maria's gonna make fun of me. I already know it.
Selling the farm.
I'm not selling the farm to get him. There we go. I'm not spending the farm.
I'm not eating the farm.
I'm not eating any of my farm food.
Farm animals.
Yeah, but I'm not super hyped for him long term.
Also, we had another question. How do you guys feel about trading Tyreek and Younghoe Koo for DeAndre Swift and Terry McLaurin?
Love it. If you can trade a kicker and a wide receiver for a running back and a wide receiver,
a top tier
running back. Not always,
not always, but
we're not
almost always.
Tyreek and Younghoe for Zach Moss and Robbie Anderson,
but really, the kicker has nothing to do with it in that case.
Tyreek Hill is definitely in the top tier of wide receivers. McLaurin's
he's the most valuable asset in this trade.
Yes, but McLaurin is close, and DeAndre Swift is
both like
closer.
Second, third. Yeah, if you put this in terms of like draft capital, right? Tyreek's a first round pick, most likely. DeAndre Swift and Terry McLaurin are both probably second round picks, like solid second round picks. Younghoe Koo is just a throw in.
I could see a world where DeAndre Swift goes at the end of the back of the first round, back into the first.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. You're right, Josh.
I agree with you, Josh. Also, an update on this question. He said, should I try Jonathan Taylor if he doesn't accept for Kamara, Waller, and Moss?
Yes.
Yep. I'm fine with that as well.
This is redraft?
I'm assuming so. And he's got Pitts as his other tight end. So that's what makes all of this even easier for us to answer. So thank you for that.
That does depend a little bit on the league. If it is like a smaller league, then I might not. Well, I guess it kind of switches because I do want that tight end different. Oh, but he has Pitts already, right?
He still has Pitts. Yep.
I'm still probably making that trade then.
JML Sports says, who would you trade Schultz and Marvin Jones for? He got an offer for Gronk and T. Higgins. So first, would you trade Dalton Schultz and Marvin Jones for Gronk and T. Higgins? Josh, you were the highest on Gronk before his injury, I believe. So how do you feel about this trade?
So Gronk, he fractured a few ribs. I think it was at least 3. And I just don't know how healthy he is when he comes back. Is he fully healthy? I'm not 100% sure. If I knew Gronk was 100% healthy, I would do this trade. Can you withstand not having a tight end for a couple weeks? Because that might be the case if you're giving away Schultz here, which would suck.
I'm the biggest T. Higgins fan. I'm not doing this trade. I would rather have Schultz and Marvin Jones. Schultz is the tight end 3 in PPR on the season. He's being hyper targeted. I'd much rather have him. Even Gronk, even when he's playing and doing well, he wasn't targeted that much. He was making most of his fantasy points from a lot of touchdowns and these big plays. I would rather have Schultz for predictable value here.
I think we just have to mention that Gallup will be back soon as well for Schultz. It might take away
that's a good
targets.
point. It's a really good point.
But at the same point, Schultz has been killing it in the targets department. He's still going to be relevant even when Gallup comes back, in my mind.
Let's see. So he's on the season. He is the 3rd option in terms of target share in this offense, 17.5% target share. Above him is Amari Cooper at 19.8% and CeeDee Lamb at 23.1%. It's pretty high for a tight end, though.
Is pretty high for a tight end. I think I'm staying on the Schultz side of that one, but that's a tricky one. Those names would make me question myself whenever that offer came in, but I think I'm staying on the Schultz side. Rendon in here said thoughts on Damien Harris and Miles Sanders moving forward. JL, we'll start with Damien Harris, or you can lump both these guys in if you've got a take for both of them. How do you feel about them rest of the season?
We already touched a little bit on Miles Sanders. I'm a little bit more bullish on him. I think he's probably a good buy low candidate this week. I think that he's probably not going to return the type of value that we were expecting, like when he was being drafted in the second, third round. But I think he'll provide more value than he has. Damien Harris, on the other hand, I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth on Damien Harris. He's clearly the one on this team, and he's getting a bulk load of the carries. I mean, 18 attempts last week for 101 yards and touchdown. I love to see that. So, as long as he keeps getting that, then I'm happy with Damien Harris.
Damien Harris. Josh, how do you feel about Damien Harris the rest of the season?
I like Damien Harris the rest of the season. I think he is the one for the Patriots. Like JL just said, he just had a fantastic game. I'd rather have Damien Harris than Miles Sanders.
It's close, but I agree with you, Josh. I'm fine with Damien Sanders or Damien Sanders.
Oh, was this
Damien,
either or?
No, he's asking about both.
No, he didn't ask it, but I just decided to throw that in.
Okay.
I'm
They're
especially
both-
with the current running back landscape. I like Damien Harris going forward. Miles Sanders, I think, is a good buy low. It can't get worse for him so far this season, and hopefully the Eagles start using him a bit more.
They're both low end number 2 running backs.
Yep. Street Gaming says.
By the way, Miles Sanders had a season high snap percentage this past week at 83%.
There we go.
They're
Trending
putting
up.
him on the field more.
Got a question. Your thoughts on this trade? Swift, Mike Williams, and Jalen Hurts for Zeke, Calvin Ridley, and Terry McLaurin PPR.
Is it a super flex? Because this is pretty easy if it's not.
Mike Williams, Calvin. Yeah.
I'm guessing not super flex because they didn't say.
Not super flex, easy side 2.
Josh, you're in agreement side 2?
Absolutely.
Non-super flex, I'll say side 2 as well. If this was super flex, does it move you to side 1 or you're still on side 2 just by less?
Depends on the team a little bit here.
If this is not super flex, I am actually still going with side 2. I mean, if it is super flex, I'm still going with side 2.
I think I would too, but it would depend on what your quarterback situation is on your team.
Like, is your QB2 Jacoby Brissett after this? Like someone who's not even a starter, then you can't make this trade. But if you've got Ryan Tannehill and another then you're fine. Or even if it's like a Derek Carr, Teddy Bridgewater level, then I would be taking the Zeke, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin.
Great question.
That is a great question. Before we answer this one, I just wanted to reference this, saying I thought Chubb was out this week as well. He is. So I apologize earlier when I was talking about Dearness Johnson's opportunity. I was talking about rest of season. This week, the running back touches will go to him. I am just this week in particular, the right tackle's out, the left tackle's out. There's a chance Baker misses. They're going up against a very tough Broncos run defense. I'm just not wanting to start him this week and then pessimistic about it going forward. But you are 100% right. Chubb is out. And so Josh is 100% right. If someone's getting the touches for the Browns this week, it's most likely Dearness Johnson. Though, didn't the Browns just activate Josh Kelly as well they just signed him?
John Kelly.
Kelly. Sorry, Josh. I was just looking at your
Kelly.
face.
No. I get a little sensitive there because all the time, whenever I call a restaurant, they're like name for the order, and I always say Josh. I try to emphasize Josh. And they always think it's John. They just write down John. They don't care.
I brought that up, but I don't really think John Kelly's going to be a threat to Dearness Johnson's touches, but they did activate him, so it's worth mentioning.
The old Rams running back, if I remember correctly, John.
And I was excited about him on the Rams, and it just never worked out. I feel like he was a late round pickup the one year he was over there. Brad said, hey guys, got a proposal, Bobby Trees and Ruggs for Calvin Ridley. I think Ridley, but what do y'all think? Josh, I saw you with the OK symbol over there.
Yeah, you're Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
Completely agree with that one, guys. Jake, I'm a little bit confused. You said my friend just asked me, he would give Keenan Allen and Mixon, and then the other person would give Ridley and Swift. I was trying to go back and look which trade you're referring to. So I'm guessing this is 2 trade offers for the same package. So we'll just ask you guys, would you rather have Keenan Allen and Mixon or Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Swift?
They're so close.
I'll take Ridley and Swift.
I'll take Ridley and Swift.
Yeah, I'll take Ridley and Swift as well.
It's really close, though. And Brad in here saying I take Allen and Mixon there, Jake, but that's just him. But I think there's 100% merit in taking that side. Those are 2 very close trade offers.
It's super close. Yeah, they're super close. But
what up, Brad?
Ridley and Swift. Man, that's so close.
Fantasy Future said jail plus futurist equals still bullish on Miles Sanders. What's up, Matt?
We got to have you back on, Jeff, when I'm there. I'm sad I missed. Of like the 2 streams I've ever missed. 2 or 3 streams.
You idiot. I can't believe you missed
Seth
that one.
I keep track.
You missed Seth?
Yeah, I missed Seth.
Those were 2 bad ones to miss, Jail. Come on.
I know. I was at a wedding both times.
Matt in here. He said, what's good, guys? And then
what up, Matt?
Pats D versus Jets or Cardinals versus Houston?
Cardinals.
Number
1 defense.
Both great defenses.
Yeah.
Both great defenses.
Pats are like number 3.
And then Dearness Johnson, McKissic, or Rashod Penny? McKissic. We're all in agreement on that one as well. And Maria said Jeff, J-E-F-F.
FYF, Jeff.
Jeff FYF. Guys, I think we're going to be wrapping up shortly on today's office hours. Thank you so much for coming in with your questions. We absolutely love answering them. This is some of our favorite things that we get to do is sit here and answer your questions. One more thing, he said, my team's been messed up by injury, sad days, not to mention Gino kind of messed me up with DK on team. Yeah, it's been a rough year for fantasy with injuries. And then this week with the bye week, it just makes it a lot more difficult. And Matt said, legends, thank you. No, thank you, my man. Thank you for your questions. One more before we jump off. Aladdin said, would you drop Singletary for DJ Dallas or Freeman? So Josh, would you drop Devin Singletary for DJ Dallas or Freeman?
No, definitely not DJ Dallas. Devontae Freeman should be mentioned just as a person that could be picked up because he looks like the most electric running back for the Ravens to me. Latavius Murray looks like a plotter. I could see Devontae Freeman running away with the job more or less. And if he did, then he's going to be relevant. Singletary, at least he's involved in the passing game. He's very explosive. And if something happened to Moss, he would be an every week starter in my mind, actually. So I don't think I could drop Singletary for either of those guys, though.
Especially last night, it wasn't just, he only had 5 carries, but he also had 5 receptions last night.
They
were getting him going in the passing game
at all in the passing game.
I'm so confused. I'm just gonna keep him on my bench for the time being. Not drop him for either of these guys. Those 5 receptions were a little bit wild to me, but we'll see if it's a trend.
My Prize Picks entry did not hit. So
and Gridiron Rating said, bring out Jay. Where are you hiding him?
At
never.
Work.
We will never bring Jay out.
He's in my closet.
Guys, that is going to be it for us today. Josh has to go feed Jay in his closet. And we've got some other stuff to get to, but thank you so much for tuning in. Like JL said earlier, we are live Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time playing fantasy football games. So if you have not done so already, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss it. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we are live right here at 4:15 Eastern time doing nothing but answering your fantasy questions.
And
guys,
Friday and Sunday on FanDuel.
And Friday and Sunday on FanDuel. Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time playing games. Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time breaking down that day's fantasy games. We are going to finish this show off with Carlos's question right here. I mentioned him on the last show a little bit. Giants just signed Dante Pettis to the active roster, worth a stash. Josh.
I mean, he played last week and got 11 targets and 5 catches. He wasn't, I mean, yes, he was just signed, but we seen him in a game. Is he worth the stash? It depends on your league. It depends who you're dropping. I am not relying on him personally.
As of 5 hours ago, Pettis reverted to the Giants practice squad. So definitely not trusting him.
There you go.
Stashing him.
There you go. Man, 11 targets to the practice squad, but I think he only had like 5 receptions.
They were desperate.
I think this is something about Kadarius Toney's health, personally.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Right?
Yeah,
I think you're right.
They gotta have bodies out there. Like, who are they playing? What are they doing? I don't know. Maybe they just want to lose at this point.
Poor Giants.
Man, you guys are just coming with the questions. Okay, real quick, we're gonna hit these last 2, then we are wrapping up. These are the last 2. Aladdin said, "What would you drop Singletary for Sony Michel?"
To pick, or would he drop Sonny Michel?
He said, "What about Michel?" So it was, would you drop Singletary? Oh, yeah, I guess. Would you drop Singletary for Sony Michel, or is it the other way around?
Would you drop Sony Michel instead of Singletary
for those other guys? Yeah.
That's how I took it. But Sony Michel is, again, he's a Daryl Henderson handcuff. So
yeah, I don't have much interest in him unless Henderson's injured, so you'd be picking him up as a flyer.
I'm dropping him for Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, I would much rather drop him than Singletary.
But don't yell at me if Daryl Henderson gets hurt and Michelle.
Freeman, I would drop him for Freeman specifically.
There you go. Yeah, I would drop him for Freeman, but not for DJ Dallas. And then Brian said, "Is it worth trading for Waller?" Yes, this is the perfect buy low window for Waller right now in redraft. Go try to trade for him.
Yes.
Okay, guys, that is it. Now we are done. We are going to be signing off. Thank you so much for your questions, and please bring some more in next time. Until then, though, we are out of here. Adios, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Make fantasy fun.